decent job. The extra camp they took at the bot lane, they're now complementing it with the second one in the middle, since they're just sniping their own night camp quite easily. And level 10 should drop for both teams around the same time. And then we're coming to the question that we asked in the draft. How do team fights look in these situations now?
Engage in the middle. Nape will come in. Gonna have at the same time Johanna taking a bit of a beating here from Alex, but they will back on up. And that 10 right around the corner here for both of our teams, with Shrines also activating. So 1 or 2 kills, and that can be the next Dragon for our teams. Wondering about level 10. Gonna have the Hunt coming out, Blessed Shield and Curse Bullet. Zul still thinking about what he wants to move into. Typically, it's gonna be that Skeletal Mages, especially against a Hyper Carry. You wanna slow down their movement.
Hunt already used, up at the top, they're going for Alex. Raid Boss moves in, it's a good gank, a really good one. And it should be the death of Alex, but in comes Marke. Has the Storm, not the shield, and therefore Arthas is down, but the fight's not over.
Gonna have a fake Arthas here with Ultimate Evolution. BKB has been locked down. Zay on the back right will be able to jump away, but Johanna gets bursted for the moment. Rimmer looking for another moment. The Howling Blast goes, but it does not connect.
Not connect on the Howling Blast, but the fort is down, so they get the kill, they get the fort. They still need someone to deal with the bot lane. It can be Illidan once that he has a cooldown back, but they're going in again, and a lot of cooldowns have been committed, and that's in favor of the good guys. They're jumping in, they get Bala, and this is exactly the problem if you do not have that copy up again. Illidan goes a little bit too deep, and Antihero might be in trouble, but can use the friend or foe to jump out again.
Dies to his teammate. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Tricky Sports is going to get that keep wall opened up from the Giants they grabbed earlier, so that is some good news for them. However, Volley being down for 5 more seconds does give Team Good Guys the chance to go ahead and try and take a breather here and reset up on the map. BKB clearing out the bottom, Zul and Illidan pushing in the middle. Want to make some movement towards that bottom shrine at some point, start moving in for the Dragon, but for now, with Illidan on the field, they can still float around and wait for the Hunt to come up.
Now, one of the things that I want to point out that we haven't really touched upon yet is the build on Abathar, going heavily into the toxic nests, and that can be extremely annoying with the many rotations that you're trying to execute on this map, especially for Illidan. We just saw him slowed down and taking damage from the nests. And as long as Abathar plays this well, he can be a big nuisance in all these situations. So it's really annoying. Not only do you grant your team vision, but at the same time, you also, of course, make it so much slower. Here comes the Hunt, already cleansed. Cleanse on the side of Anti too. Divine Storm has been used. Raid Boss is still extremely low and might fall here. And indeed does. It is the double Arthas that they're committing to. Again, not afraid of lacking damage, and they are able to create so much space for Vala that they get easily damage pushed out. Yep,
Vala dropped down the multi-shot, moves straight into the strafe, and with an Emerald Wind being used, there's no risk of it being shut down. Anti's gonna take a chance here to move in for a fight while Make gets low. He brings up the self-heal. Nape wants to come in and help out his teammate, but may get caught in the rotation. Johanna bringing up the BKB, gonna be helping out with that Condemn.
But you can really see how these team fights are going. Tricked moves in with a copy, tries to get the kill. And even when that kill happens, the good guys are willing to recommit to the fight after the copy is down. Abathar can still help out, still provides value, but the good guys are not afraid to look for these fights. So if they can actually move out of a battle when the copy is not up and then recommit later, that would be fantastic for them. BKB is in a lot of trouble. He already used his Iron Skin. He needs the cleanse, and there it is. He might still fall, has his Laws of Soap active, but the strafe commits, and this is the last multi-shot that takes him apart. Illidan was not part of the fight here. Early level 13 for Tricked as a result to that kill.
Big flank there from Alex Protean and good stun there from Make to set up that entire kill duration. Howling Blast coming in, and the cleanse even being used by Rhaegar and a Blessed Shield. Team Good Guys gonna be hurting on that as I have to wait for 30 seconds for the Blessed Shield to be back up.
I still have to say that I think if the good guys get their coordination together for the later stages, especially as the game progresses, I would say they have a really good shot at taking the team fights. They've already shown that potential several times, and talents like the 13 on Rhaegar with the Earth and Shield are going to help a lot with it. So I'm really... If they coordinate the fights a bit better, just a tiny bit, I'm really liking their chances to win team fights later on.
Well, we'll see if the fights will break out for them. As Vala and crew come in, Nape will use the Emerald Wind, knocking back targets on the top left. Anti does find the Brightwing, but with Make on the side, he's going to have to back on out. Crosby has picked up Temper by Discipline, by the way, at level 13, which does indicate that Trick Esports does want to go in for these sustained team fights with some good blockage here from Alex Aproji. They do get the Dragon.
The Dragon is down, but so is Vala. Vala eliminated, and this is the problem. The copy is down, and all of a sudden they're on the retreat. Even though they got the Dragonite, they find themselves in trouble, and they won't get a lot of value out of it. There is a camp at the bot lane that still has to be a concern on the side of the good guys. But we see it again. The copy falls and immediately all hell breaks loose for Trick. So they have strong team fights as long as the copy is part of the equation. As soon as it drops, we see especially Illidan recommitting with Greymane. And that's really the big issue here. So both of these teams have a cool approach to the team fight, but it's extreme, like there's small time frames in which they really excel.
One does have to wonder if the Ultimate Evolution is to be used in the Vala, will those fights go a little bit more in favor of Trick Esports? We keep seeing the Arthurs, which is good.
They actually used it on Vala in the last.
Did they? Good. Well, still not fully paying off of them. Trick Esports and crew 15-14 as Team Good Guys is ahead, and they are defending this Dragon well. Here comes the hunt as Alex Aproji will be the target. Auntie immediately does back on up as BKB is doing his best to clear for his team.
There's again the double Arthurs. They're going in. Raid Boss drops the old moves out. The Dragonite still is going to get some value. But foot might fall. Experience looking good. They try to burn the copy, and now they can try to re-engage, and that's exactly what they're doing. The copy is down in the immediate fight already.
Divine
the
Storm.
lockdown, and this is the stun comp that we talked about. It drops Illidan, and that is a stop to the fight immediately. Crosby, by the way, with basically negative hit points walking out of that.
Barely getting away, even with the double healers. Remember, Vala is quite a target as she gets quite low on health. Squishy to explain her health pool, and gets low there from the cocktail coming in. Will be able to survive just barely. Alex Aproji comes in with Nape dropping down the peekaboo. Should be able to see if their opponents are going to be pushing on in. But Crosby, now healthy, is not afraid of fighting. He moves on in, and Trick Esports will take the Giants.
Yeah, the real big thing is that you need to keep Illidan alive, because he is going to be the priority target for the disables, and then the Ancestral has to be on point there so that you can keep him alive. So you always have to make sure that, first of all, Rhaegar isn't polymorphed, Rhaegar isn't caught in the stun, he needs to stay back safe and has to have the cooldown ready. And if you keep Illidan alive, then it's a problem for Trick. But this is really just what these teams play around. They play heavily around that copy. And this is one of the cool things about this game at this point, because from a structural perspective, we have them at nearly an identical spot, basically. And from an experience point of view, it's also incredibly close. The 16 has just now been picked up by the good guys, and we see Trick Esports just a few experience points away from taking the next talent as well.
And they're about to get it here, actually, in the top lane, as they're pushing forward with the Knights. Unaware of where their opponents are at fully, they do pull away when Illidan shows himself and looks a little bit more bold.
I love how everybody takes the safe path around the corner, and BKB is just like, yeah, what up, fam? And walks straight through the middle, straight into 5, and then just sees it happen before he collides with them. He's like, oops, maybe I should take the side route here.
That's the appeal of playing Johanna, man. You do feel pretty darn invincible, even before level 20, when you get that nice storm power that keeps you pretty much invincible. Trick Esports is going to go ahead and rotate to the bottom here, and it's all about dancing here. Trying to stay around Alex Aproji, allow Abther to soak on the side, and look for opportunities to catch your opponent. I love how they're controlling the middle here with the Abther mines, making sure that if anyone does come through there, they can get the engage.
Yeah, engages, that's what it's all about here. Once again, Hunt comes in, and immediately Zul committing to Zul as well. Copy is out, and immediately Team Good Guys move back. Once they see the ult come out, once they see the copy out in Abathur, they immediately retreat. They sacrifice the fort, and they just said, screw that. We're not fighting once the copy is up, but they are already looking to burn Ramabala down and to re-engage.
Rimmer is finally going to fall out as his clone will expire. Anti looking for that dive. Is he going to go on Alex Aproji? No, decides against it. As Team Good Guys has a big wave in the bottom they have to clear out, but Trick Esports sees people retreating and they turn around themselves. I
actually, I think it's really funny if you look at these fights. It's basically the back and forth. Copy comes in, Good Guys run away. Once the Trick realizes, the copy is about to expire, they start running and the Good Guys all of a sudden push in. So it's just watching waves the entire time, a back and forth where everyone tries to exploit the weakness of the other. It's beautiful how well these teams understand their strength and weaknesses and play around that. I'm loving that.
Tug of war. The hunt comes off instantly. Cleanse will come out from Make. BKB is on the backside though, looking for Condemn. Gets off the blind. Ice Block will be used. Emerald win. Make bringing out the heal. Alex wants to engage, but he's not in position.
Make down, and they go for the second kill, and they get it. Right wing eliminated. And now without the supports, all of a sudden, Trick Esports is on the run, and the momentum train is hitting them hard. Down they go, one after another, and the good guys have for now control over the map. They can go for the Dragon Knight, and they have 30 seconds in a 5 versus 3.
Team Good Guys moving towards the Dragon. Already Zul about to grab it, and they can move in the bottom lane here. They already have a fort down to half health. They can move towards the keep as well, break open the keep wall, and be in such a great spot, especially against an Aperture composition. It's actually very difficult for Trick Esports to defend this Dragon.
They can actually get 2 forts here even. At this point, the question is, can they really push for the keep? But they can definitely take 2 forts, since there's another few seconds until up to the point where Trick finally has 5 people on the map. So it's an easy fort in the mid lane. And as you said, the bottom fort is already damaged, so that's an easy pick too. And then they will try and get the wall. So they're maximizing the value that they get out of the Dragon Knight here, at least for now. They have an entire level lead. And thanks to them moving into the bot lane, they also take the pressure away from the keep at the bot lane, which is also important.
Big experience hike too, as they move towards 19, on their way towards that level 20, well before their opponents. Trick Esports will be able to deter the Dragon away as they use an Ultimate Evolution clone for defense, but Team Good Guys wisely pulls away. Remember, you have a long duration to use that Dragon. You don't have to force a health issue. Do have another engage from Marcus on the bottom right side. Alex and crew are thinking this is the way for them to turn around and win a fight, but with the clone expiring, Team Good Guys finally opens up that wall.
Yeah, that is always the big issue, the clone expiring. And look at experience now. 1.5 level lead, which is absolutely fantastic for TGG. They had 220, and once that they get the extra talent, they have a big time window that they can use for fights.
Trick trying to force a fight here. They want to fight before 20 does hit, but punted away is Arthas. And Trick Esports will not find the engage they want. Illidan goes to the top, soaks up to 20, they grab the Giants, and Team Good Guys sitting pretty here for the next 90 seconds.
Yeah, that's what they have to do at this point. So there comes the level 20 any moment now. That's going to be a big lead for them. And then Trick Esports, I actually am a little bit surprised even that they didn't try to take the Siege Giant camp here away from their opponent, but they played it extremely safe. And now they have the 20. And the one thing which I think is going to make it even harder now is that Rhaegar at this point has a Storm Shield. So with that taken, it's so much harder to really kill someone, since the entire idea of Trick is kill a target while we have the copy up, lock, for example, Illidan down with Benediction stuns, with a Polymorph, with a Howling Blast, and with the Storm, with the Divine Storm, and then get a kill. And Rhaegar's 20 is going to make that so much more difficult, especially since we're now also having Bolt of the Storm taken on the side of Illidan. Yeah,
that's what I was going to point out there. The Illidan having the Bolt of the Storm, that's one more tool to dodge out on that Uther stun coming in. He moves towards you, and you think you don't have the dive to get out, you just bolt away, and that makes it much more even difficult for Trick Esports to get that lockdown.
And that is exactly why I think this is going to be difficult. Trick can still pull it off, don't get me wrong. But it's going to be very difficult for them to get all the coordination going, and it's much harder for them to execute their comp now than for the Good Guys, I feel. There's a lot of value at the top lane that was already gotten here, and now in the mid lane we see a very similar scenario as the Good Guys are attempting to push in. Their whole thought process here is really, guys, let's try and get some value out of our level 20, and they don't get a keep, which would have been the ideal scenario, but what they do get is a lot of control over the map. They push every single wave in, every single lane in, and they're able to take the walls out. So they have a direct access to the keep itself, and of course, with the Dragon Knight, you can then easily take them down and maybe even go for core.
I mean, besides all the benefits you just mentioned, they also put Trick Esports back in their base, which opened up the spots for them to get the shrines. And now Illidan and Zul can converge on this area and come in for the fight. Team Good Guys playing that quite well. Trick Esports does hit 20, and this is their moment. This is their last stand. Can they stop Team Good Guys from getting the Dragon?
Vala cleansed already. They're starting to move in. Copy is going to come out any second. There it is. Double Arthurs, and the Good Guys on the retreat. Howling Blast catches two, though. They're still moving away from this. Alex is a bit low, but they're still on the run. Zay can dodge out any moment now. and this is where they turn around. They want the copy, and now they want to fight. This is the moment for the good guys to go in.
And Zool looking for that bone prison. Does he find Crosby? He does on the backside here. Crosby handled back. Illidan turns around and starts grabbing the dragon. Alex Aproji stepping forward with Make as well. Nape will be forced to use Emerald Wind. Auntie's able to get around though. Members are getting low for Trick Esport.
The Bolt of the Storm saving Antihero. He gets away. Now they can turn it around again. They go for the kill against Uther and they get it. Redemptional, of course, still a big deal here, but the Dragonite is already taken, and this is where Antihero re-enters the battle. The good guys with the momentum now starting to go straight for the keep.
Game's not over though. Trick Esports in 10 seconds will have the ultimate evolution. Uther coming back because of redemption. Team Good Guys putting some damage on that keep. It drops down to half health already, getting lower and lower. Trick Esports doing their best to clear out this dragon and get it low so they can't deal with the core. But Alex Aproji gets kicked behind enemy lines.
And here comes the copy once again. This is Rema trying to save Alex, and Antihero was distracting the rest of the team as he headed for the core. So it's another copy that is more or less wasted. Well, it saved Arthur, so it definitely had some value, but you can't use it for team fights. So again, Trick has to be passive.
Maybe they've done enough though. With the dragon being low on health, a few more pokes they should be fine, but they cannot afford to get caught now. The keep takes a little bit of damage here. Luckily it's full health, they shouldn't have to worry too much. BKB in the front line does get locked down, but he pops the Iron Skin and engages.
Bullet already out. Make is low once again. Here comes the strafe in the back from Crosby. They're going in. Raid Boss is already low, sacrificing himself, starting to move in as Alex moves out. And Raid Boss, not getting away.
Does not get away, and Trick Esports may have found their moment. Alex is still on Greymane here. He's low on health. He's trying to dive on out. Howling Blast is going to be up in a second or two. Can Alex land it? He does, and there's the pick.
2 seconds before Ancestral would have been back. BKB even turning around here. But look at Illidan. Illidan is on the right side of the map now, and he is... What is he actually going to do? Is he going to just take the Siege Giant camp, or are we going to see him make a play for the core here? Illidan has an easy time fighting against the core, and he is on the way. Trick Esports wants to go for the win here.
BKB locking him in the keep. All 5 people here for Trick Esports, as you mentioned. Kronaz and crew hoping to defend. It's going to be a base race. Illidan starting to scratch through the armor. Nape dropping down the Emerald Wind to keep BKB at bay. He needs to get on top of that Bala if he can, but already Trick Esports is well ahead in the core race. They're going to burn it down, and Team Good Guys are going to lose as Trick Esports grabs a victory in game number 3.
Trick takes the win and the lead in a really close series, and Trick definitely playing a bit with fire here. That late game against a team with a bit more experience, I would say that would have been lights out for them, but they get their chance, they take the kills, and then they take the win.
Sometimes it comes down to one team fight, and Trick Esport knowing that finally get the pick they want. First on Zool, and then finding the Greymane, and you were right, 2 seconds, and maybe Greymane loses there, able to pull back, and we have a longer game going on, but when it comes to seconds, man, sometimes you can get that slight lead, get that win, and Trick Esports knew what to do from there.
But I think Trick is pretty relieved after this one, since you could definitely tell towards the later stages of the game, it got harder and harder for them to make these fights happen and to win them. So I really think this is a bit of one of those calls. If you, for example, take the keep and you just say, all right, that's it, let's move back from here, you can make that work and just approach the next fight. Always like bait the copy out, move back, try to go in. But those 2 kills, that's what really saved Trick. But that's probably one of those games where you just look at it as like, whew, thank God that's over.
Glad we got to level 20 and made that one work out.
But it was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah, it made it happen here. Well, if you guys continue to let us know what you think about the games, we will show them live here on the show. Make sure to tweet at Heroes Esports using the hashtag HGC. And we got a couple already, as you guys have been talking on Twitter, buzzing about how happy you are that HGC is back. HGC is back. The tournaments are very cool, but this season format is really what I look forward to each week. Crushinator, thanks for the tweet.
Best nickname. Already, right away. And we have, of course, a few more. HGC are back. I'm so happy. Well, not only you, believe me, we are pretty happy ourselves to be back in the studio here. Finally, something good to do on the weekends. Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, you went biking, but, you know, he's got the HGC too. Can't go wrong.
Biking in SoCal is awesome.
Argy Hots, what is a Necroman's favorite instrument? A Zuluphone. Ah, ha, ha, ha.
That was your shittiest laugh.
That was a real laugh, man. It was completely authentic.
I like it.
It was a good one. A good one. 6 out of 10.
don't take it personal. Trick just doesn't know what a xylophone is.
I don't know what a xylophone is, man. My musical knowledge is quite limited.
You actually don't?
A xylophone. It's a xylophone.
Yeah.
He made a pun on xylophone. Yeah, I get the joke. I understand it.
Are you sure? You understand
Yeah,
it?
I get it, man.
I thought I was the one without the humor.
He's got a point. He's got a point. Well, Argy, thank you for your joke of the day. I'll make sure to tell it to my eventual kids in the future when I think I'm funny. So that's going to be it there for all the tweets. Continue to let us know more if you've been enjoying the HGC, and tweet us at Heroes Esports. It's time for game number 4 here as Trick Esports takes on Team Good Guys. Which battleground are we going to? It's going to be Cursed Hollow.
Cursed Hollow, and yeah, the Good Guys the entire time. They just don't care about first picks. They're saying, you know, Rhaegar and Greymane works for us, so we don't need that first pick. We would rather focus on the map instead.
Yeah, so Cursed Hollow being the battleground they go to. This is the battleground that they played their old composition the most, the one with the Odin Hunt into the engages, where they intend to split their opponents and work on the double bosses, which is something we have not seen today yet in our matches. You always got to worry about those double bosses and where you can make that power play to push in your opponent and get a win or two.
This is interesting to me now for several reasons. First of all, I want to see what Trick does. Does Trick change their ban pattern in order to maybe put more pressure on TGG? Let's say ban out Greymane. Take one of their 2 early picks away from them by either pricking it or by banning it out. And I want to see if maybe there's an adjustment on the side of TGG as well, if they, for example, go back to that composition that we've been talking about. The double support with Illidan, have Lunara in the mix, or either Vala. If that might be one of the things that they're saying, hey, listen, on this map now, at this point in the series, let's change it up a little bit to not be too predictable.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if Zul will be utilizing this battleground. Typically, you would say no based on what Zul is capable of doing. He's able to go to different lanes if they're small, and you're able to rotate and clear them out. With Cursed Hollow, a bit longer in your movement and your rotations, but so far, Zul has been in every single battleground that we've played.
Yeah, true. But so far, was also... Well, I guess you can argue a little bit about Dragon Shy. You can argue a bit how much value you usually get out of Azul. He was for a long time very dominant on the map. I think in North America he had in part 1 of Phase 2 a bit of a time where he was used as a solo laner on the top, but in Europe normally it was more you have Zul on smaller maps with rotation. So yeah, I wouldn't really expect him on Cursed, but we have seen him in every single game so far today.
Old heroes that we haven't seen today. We've seen some bans, but Dahaka, of course, in Cursed Hollow, Falstaff, Globals, Abathur, Garrosh. Doubt Trick Esports is going to let that one through as they continue to keep banning it out, but I would be happy to see some Garrosh. Yeah,
actually, so far it was super easy for Trick to get rid of Garrosh, because since we had every single time the map choice on the side of TGG, they only get 2 picks before the second ban phase. And for every single one of these double picks, they decided to go with Rhaegar and Greymane. So banning out Garrosh was always easy without any pressure on the side of Trick, where they just said, we know BKB likes the hero, just take him out, play that safe. He's a little bit of a game changer. If he has some really nice tosses there, he could maybe change team fights completely. So let's just not risk it and take it away. That has been a staple and a very common theme throughout all of the drafts. So let's see if we have some adjustments here. Trick is starting off with a first ban, of course. And let's see, do they take away Greymane, do they take away Rhaegar, or do they just ignore the 2 of them?
So far, it's been Oriel and Dahaka as bans for Trick Esports. Both of them pretty decent on this battleground. The 3-man that you can set up to push in for a turret is always great with Oriel in it. But then again, there's always the threat of Dahaka.
I would not ban out Greymane or Rhaegar, I have to say. I would not do it just simply because if you do that, you allow different great first picks on the side of your opponent. But they ban Rhaegar, they actually do it. I would be worried about it, because now you open up a potential Oriel start on the side of the Good Guys. Good Guys can now start to ban anything. Let's say you ban Genji here, then you leave Uther and also Oriel still open. So Trick would probably react with an Uther pick, since that's what they have been prioritizing, and then you have Oriel on the side of the Good Guys. If they pick Oriel, you still have Uther. You can go into another double support. So while I like that Trick is obviously thinking about what's happening here and trying to throw a bit of a wrench into the plan of the Good Guys, I would give the Good Guys at least so much credit to say this is not the only start into a draft that they have. They have more than that. So that's my only concern here.
Well, Team Good Guys now thinking pretty longingly on what they want to ban out themselves. They decided to go ahead and ban out the Tassadar. So Trick Esport on the right side. Do you move straight into the Uther or do you grab the Oriole?
That's basically the main question here. And they go with again. So I would expect Oriole to be taken by the good guys now. And this is really the moment where if I was them, I would probably try and fall back on my old draft style and simply go into my Lunara and Illidan draft. If Trick bans out Illidan, you go for Melthiel. If they ban out Lunara, you go for Vala. That's what they have done in the first part of Phase 2. And that adjustment, I think, would probably work well for them here. Especially since Trick has so far shown a tendency to ban Garrosh on the second position, so I don't think they would threaten that draft too much.
Team Good Guys thinking about what they move into. I mean, if you don't go for support, is there a world where Greymane Dahaka is worth picking up for your 1 and 2?
No.
Not even.
I would not risk it. There are enough good supports that you can still play, but if you go for Greymane and Dahaka right now, you would allow Trick Esports to play any kind of hyper carry with a Oriole combo and ban out an additional support, which forces you into...
Ooh!
Wow!
They go for the double G. Greymane Garrosh.
Huh. That's interesting. Greymane, I would have said Greymane with a... I really would like Trick to exploit that.
Trick can move into a double support, but think about it maybe from what Team Good Guys is thinking. If you have Garrosh and you're able to get your picks, why does double support matter if you're able to get a combo and pull somebody behind and throw them behind you? And you get to that 5v4, because you can get the picks anyways.
Yeah, but who can you throw? It's going to be the tank at the front line unless your opponent has massive positioning problems and allows you to just simply walk straight up into them. So if you throw the tank, the only thing you have to do is you draft a tank that is able to either walk out, jump out, has some kind of mobility, or can be healed by the supports that you have. But overall, with what we are having now, you allow them to get Uther,